Today's episode of the 404 Show is brought to you by SoftLayer. SoftLayer delivers a cloud built for security. Your business applications, all of your workloads, they're unique, so you deserve a cloud that meets your specific demands. SoftLayer is the only cloud provider that provisions dedicated servers and virtual servers from a single seamless platform. It's all on demand, all connected to the same open API, and guess what? Connected to a global private network. Best of all, SoftLayer is an IBM company. In fact, IBM itself uses SoftLayer as its cloud infrastructure foundation for all IBM cloud products and services. Use SoftLayer. Check out softlayer.com/podcast to get started with your $500 off servers, storage, networks. Build your own security rig. Build your own cloud built for security from SoftLayer. Welcome to another episode of the 404 Show. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chill out with us for about an hour or so. My name is Jeff Bacalar. It is Friday, September 11th, 2015. Mr. Russ Frushtick, how are you, sir?
Hello, Jeffrey. I'm good.
Always a sad day.
Yeah, it's a drag, especially in the city. It's tough to get.
It's a weird day.
It is.
It is a weird day. It is 14 years later, and stuff just still feels weird. And I don't know really much more to say than, man, it's a weird time in New York.
Do you ever go down to the Ground Zero and like see all the tourists walking around and like feel like super? That makes me feel super weird.
I have a few reservations about how much of a touristy let's smile in front of Ground Zero.
It's not only so touristy, it's also there's like people selling photos of like the plane crashes.
No, they're not.
Yes, 100%.
I was lucky enough to have seen the museum before it was opened. Justin and I were lucky enough to go to the top of Tower 1 before it opened. It was amazing. The entire stuff, politics aside about how long it took for all the stuff to get into action and whatnot. It is an amazing sight down there. But yes, there is something really bizarre about what it's evolved into and how it has turned into such a commercial, almost brand, dare I say, where it's like, ooh, that rubs me away. Yeah, I'm not sure it does, it rubs anyone else.
Yeah.
Being from here, I think we kind of like take umbrage a little more than others, but that is human nature. That is how it all shakes out, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. All right. Today was an interesting week. This week was an interesting week in the world of tech, if you're paying attention to stuff like that. Apple had their biggest shindig of the year on Wednesday.
Yeah. Wasn't the Apple Watch also this year?
It was.
I feel like in terms of excitement, the Apple Watch might have, that build-up might have been bigger.
I think the reveal for that was a bigger deal than what happened on Wednesday.
Yes. Well, what happened on Wednesday, everyone knew what was going to happen on Wednesday.
Yeah, and that was super anticlimactic. I mean, I'm at the point where I don't need you anymore. I don't need your keynote anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm getting, all I'm getting is this spin from you. I'm not getting exactly what I want to hear. And I get it. That's the problem with all press conferences.
Sure.
That's the problem with any keynote delivered by a company. You're going to get a very one-sided approach at the entire thing. I don't know. I feel like we didn't need it. I feel like we got everything we needed. All it did was allow for letdowns and disappointments.
Yeah. And it's also kind of funny because it usually hits their stock pretty hard. Almost every single press conference, their stock goes down afterwards, which is normal for the stock market. But it is weird that they build so much around it. But it is, for their brand, I think it's very valuable.
What happened this time? When you say, so you're saying when Apple has a press conference, the stock takes a hit because it sort of corrects itself.
It's exactly right. So you're supposed to, the old stock market adage is buy on the rumor and sell on the news.
Right, because nobody in there, like everyone knew what was going to happen Wednesday. So that public knowledge already had its effect on the stock market. Yeah. So you just spieling this out because you were on Fox Business?
No, I just think it's interesting that there are obvious benefits for their brand and like awareness and stuff like that.
Sure.
But as a like strictly numerical like one-to-one connection, it is a little bit damaging to their like stock.
Well, in what
it goes down.
So what's it at now? Do you know?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Because I know it's split like 6 times, and now
it's still valuable.
Of course,
I'm not worried about Apple's stock long term. It's just I found that interesting. I don't know, but as a press conference, in terms of the reveals, like as we said, we knew everything.
We did,
except for maybe the pencil. I don't think you knew about the pencil.
I did not know about the pencil.
So, and there was this great comic. I don't know if you saw this comic. There was a comic done in 2012.
Yep,
and it was literally. Like the first panel is Steve Ballmer on stage introducing the Surface, and saying, "Hey," and it comes with a keyboard
and a stylus
and all that stuff. And he was like, and then it's him getting angry at the crowd because the crowd hates it, and he's like, "Well, Apple's gonna rip us off in 3 years." And then the last panel is Tim Cook at WWDC 2015, revealing literally everything that was revealed in this press conference, which is pretty spot on.
It's a very strange reversal of roles. I don't know how anybody cannot take a second guess. And look, it's a tip of the hat to Microsoft. It is. Yeah. They were the first to do that.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
It's a good idea. People I know
the keyboard thing. It was a good idea.
I know a couple people who have a Surface and they like it.
Yeah.
They do.
Yep.
The third one. Sure. I don't know if the first two were. Yeah.
It took a little while, but I do know people that like it.
Right. So people like it. So okay. So here's my whole thing. Right. The iPad Pro. With its keyboard and its pencil. I just don't understand the evolution of this product anymore. At first, when the iPad came out, what was it? 2010.
Yeah, around there.
iPad comes out, and they go, "Hey, check it out. We ripped the screen off a laptop, and now it's just the screen. And you can touch it."
Yeah.
Right? Bam.
Sure.
Life's changed. You didn't know you needed this product. Your life's changed.
Yeah.
Fast forward 5 years later, and they've just reassembled a computer.
Yeah. Well,
my question is like, okay, so why doesn't this MacBook Air just have a touchscreen?
Like a removable touchscreen?
Yeah, and then it's that same thing.
Yeah, so my guess, because the biggest issue that people have had with the iPad, like, I like the iPad, it's okay. But in terms of doing work on it, you really can't.
It's not a productive.
You just can't. Like
machine.
Typing is annoying, and just like moving files around doesn't really work, and there's just like a lot of issues with it. And the Surface sort of fell into that hole where it was like, hey, you can use it as a laptop essentially.
Right.
You're not going to do intense gaming on it, but certainly if you're just using it for work, it's like a viable travel laptop.
It's an option.
And it does seem like that's essentially what Apple's trying to follow, but iOS still doesn't really operate in such a way that unless you're just using like Gmail and Drive and whatever to do work, it's still not really great for like file management and all that stuff. Just doesn't really work on iOS. It's just not made for that.
And that's the thing. Like a lot of people are saying, okay, fine. So now this is a clone of the Surface, but like you just said, the OS it exists on is not an OS that lends itself necessarily to productivity.
Right. It's really just designed for entertainment digestion.
Right. And don't get me wrong, yes, they showed off the AutoCAD software and the film and photo editing software. I'm sorry, video and film and photo editing software. But
if you're a serious video editing person, like you're probably not going to use this.
I can't imagine a situation where anyone's like, oh, I need to do a quick cut.
Right.
With this, get all the, don't forget, that's also understanding, oh, I need to dump all this footage on the iPad.
Yeah, no,
how's that all going to shake out? How's it going to work?
It's crazy. I don't I don't really see, like, I get the demand for using it as an entertainment device. Beyond that, I don't know. It just seems more of a novelty. And the size of it is like, I mean, it's huge.
It's huge.
And I mean, it's the size of my laptop essentially without the keyboard. And,
right. So it's like
that's just like enormous.
And your MacBook also has a USB port.
Right.
And it's, it's this modular sort of device with a trackpad too.
Yeah.
I mean, you put a touchscreen on that thing, and why am I ever going to buy an iPad Pro of it? I think that's the thing. And I know when the iPad first came out, I remember specifically saying this thing's a joke. It's never going to take off. I ate shit for that, obviously.
Yeah.
And, now it's like, all right, the iPad is such an established product. Explain to me, the reasons why I didn't know I needed this. And I don't know if I see that, even though the iPad Pro is an extension of the iPad. Sure. I still don't see where it falls into my everyday life, where I'm not taking my MacBook that has a way better keyboard too. That keyboard that's attached to that thing, that is not going to be the most fluid, sort of comfortable keyboard you've ever used.
It'd be a travel keyboard essentially.
Yeah, it's a strange.
I thought they made a better argument for the Apple TV. Out of all the products they revealed, I thought that was the one that like showed the best. I was hoping more certainly of a gaming focus.
Kind of took a back seat.
Yeah, I mean the games that they showed were like basically Wii games with like a lot of waggle and like Crossy Road and stuff like that. Fun, like if you ignore that stuff and like, I mean, it works with third-party controllers. There's like a high-end SteelSeries controller that's going to work with the Apple TV, and like you could play like Bioshock. Like Bioshock runs on an iPhone 6 now, and a various other like hardcore games. So you could use this as a hardcore gaming thing. You could
for a handful of games.
iPhone is not made for that.
And rarely are you going to get a simultaneous multi-platform release where like you're playing that game day one.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen because the price difference. What I do like about the Apple TV, strictly from a gaming perspective, is I think it might be one of the easiest systems to do multiplayer with.
Okay.
Because it works. You could essentially use iPhones as controllers.
Gotcha.
Which is kind of neat. So if everyone at your party has an iPhone, you can play a 4-player game without having to worry about like charging controllers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat. I don't think it's like a world-changing thing. I like the Apple TV as like a concept and like a very simple set-top box solution to like do most of the stuff you want to do media-wise, like Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff. And this is definitely
not Amazon.
Not Amazon. That's true.
That's a big deal, man.
It is. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. It is a very significant emerging platform with tons of fantastic original programming, and there is a void by this thing not having it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm choosing between a Roku and this,
sure,
you got to take that into consideration. Yes, don't get me wrong. The Siri stuff, it's a great demo. Yeah. It's a great demo.
I would never use it though.
I don't think you're going to use it as much as you might.
Well, the question is, do you use Siri now?
Right.
I never ever use Siri.
I never do.
You don't have a...
Well, no, I still have a capable, phone that
Who talks to you? Does it have a name?
I think you just say, "Okay, Google."
Oh, so it's Google.
He don't want to.
Not listening.
He don't want to come out. He don't want to come out today.
He's in a show.
It doesn't matter because I don't need him to.
Right. It's worthless.
Because it's pointless. The
Xbox has the same thing, and I never use it.
I don't even think Kinect deserves to be uttered in the same conversation.
It did feel very similar. That demo felt like a Kinect demo, didn't it?
It did, but to Apple's credit, as seemingly unfun as it is to use Siri, the voice recognition, it works at least.
Pretty
where
well.
Kinect does not work 35% of the time.
Agreed.
So the only time I talk to my phone is voice to text. Like I
never use that
all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'm walking down the street texting. I will say
Martha.
stuff. Yeah. What's that?
There's a Simpsons moment where Nelson has an Apple Newton.
Yeah.
And he writes out in script, he writes "beat up Martin" as a reminder, and it changed to "eat up Martha."
Yes.
So essentially, that
obscure
level of accuracy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But it does work. Like the voice to text stuff really works well on Google. It learns your voice. It learns the things you say often. Like I say a lot of words that aren't common vernacular, and it comes through.
Like what?
Like You know my weird words. Like gins, I say.
Oh, yeah. And it comes through?
Yeah. And
Is that because you type it a lot?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
guess.
pretty cool.
There's no other reason. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, GINS is what I use for the word dinner.
Yeah.
What are we doing for gins? What's for dinner?
Yeah.
Anyway, my freakish vocabulary
That
aside,
is interesting. I never use that stuff.
It's fun. I have a thing. So let's get into the phone. The Apple TV, I think we covered enough.
Yeah.
The phones. I'm not going to lie. I kind of think like this is the closest I've ever been to wanting an iPhone.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the 3D stuff?
That's icing on the cake.
What was it for you?
I don't know. I think for me...
I mean, we could go out on a limb and say Android's pretty crap.
No,
so.
Android's great. Like, no one will agree with you. Android is good.
Okay.
Android is a good operating system.
I will admit, I
ways,
haven't used an Android in several years, so I'm sure it's much better than it was when I used it.
It improves by leaps and bounds.
Okay.
Whereas iOS has this like stagnancy issue.
Sure.
Stagnancy, yes. So I think my whole thing, for me, number one, and this is going to sound lame, but like...
Rose gold. You want a rose gold one.
Yes, I want a rose gold 128 iPhone 6S.
Yeah.
No. Everyone I know has an iPhone.
Okay.
And it's getting to the
Does
point...
Stacey have an iPhone?
Yeah. It's getting to the point...
It's annoying.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
And it's not... And to me, like, now I'm at the point where, like, okay, I'm maybe one out of, like, 25 people I know that don't have an iPhone. And... you can stick to your guns as long as you want. And I've never owned an iPhone, and I don't think I'm going to get one anytime soon.
Okay.
I just know, like...
Just for your iMessage? Is that the...
iMessage and just, like, compatibility.
Yeah.
Like, I get asked a lot of questions about the iPhone. I just don't know the answer.
Yeah.
And, like, if I just used it, I feel like people... Look, I don't know. You hear what I'm saying? Like,
it's interesting that this was... The 6S was, like, the moment when you realized that.
Also, the camera is so goddamn good on this phone.
Yeah.
I've never used an Android phone that comes close. I know the LG G4 apparently has, like, this unbelievable camera. And I like the one on the G3 that I currently have. But I can tell, like... Man, that iPhone 6S camera is super fast.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the most important thing about your phone's camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be super fast, work real well in low light conditions, and not suffer from blur.
Yeah.
And it looks like all of those ingredients have lined up perfectly for this new phone. Not to mention, they've bumped up the what's it called? The resolution.
Mm-hmm. And didn't they just add a transfer to from Android feature? There's no better time, Jeff.
I have a rooted G3 that I am very happy with.
Yeah.
I love everything about it. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that T-Mobile thing where it's like you can try out this phone for
T-Mobile.
Yeah. I'm going to switch to T-Mobile, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I'm getting
You think the service is okay on T-Mobile?
In Manhattan, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, but what about Jersey?
What do you mean, like where I live in Hoboken? I'm pretty sure.
What if you went home? You don't think it'd be bad?
I don't live in the sticks. What do you mean?
Alex, my fiance, has Sprint, and her reception is terrible.
Yeah, I had Sprint for 3 years too, and I didn't get a phone call for 3 years. Yeah. So that's how that works.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Sprint is currently not very good, but T-Mobile customer satisfaction is very high.
Okay.
And let us not forget the insane amount of money you will be saving.
Yeah.
I will be saving feasibly when and if I switch.
What's your cell phone bill at? How much do you pay?
Like $100.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's with that CBS discount we get.
Wow, that's crazy.
What do you pay?
I pay $80 and I still have unlimited data.
On Verizon?
On AT&T.
Oh, you have AT&T. So what the hell?
What do you mean? What the hell?
Verizon's technically like the best.
Verizon's more expensive though.
Yeah, my point exactly, I guess.
So there you go.
I think I like T-Mobile's like FU attitude also.
I mean, their marketing is smart.
Well, like their CEO, that like other guy, like he clearly does
the uncarrier, right?
He wants to get dirty. He wants to get nasty.
He just wants to set us up. Like he's got nothing to lose. He's not getting beat by Sprint.
Look, how do people vote for their president? Whether or not they like the person. I like this guy. Yeah. I'm gonna give his service a shot.
Yeah.
I think we'll see.
Okay.
But I don't know. Would it be totally like I wouldn't be able to tell anyone.
No, you'd be really embarrassed.
You know, I'd have to like just be 100% quiet about it.
Yeah.
Do it quietly and not tell anyone.
Yeah.
Because I have like maybe one or two friends who are just like, man, I gotta give you credit, Jeff. You stuck to your guns with that Android, man.
It's honestly like you've been a Red Sox fan all your life, and then secretly you're like, I'm gonna be a Yankee fan now, and let's see if anyone notices.
But it's the camera, man. The camera's so good.
Those Yankees spend a lot of money on camera.
And I'll jailbreak it and I'll do what I gotta do to make it my own. But
live the dream, Jeff. iMessage is great.
It is great. I can use my own keyboard now, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's a big part. That's a big deal.
Big deal. Big deal.
All right, let's move along. Enough Apple for today. We spent 15 minutes on Apple. Hopefully we covered everything you wanted to hear, or at least what you would expect from us covering Apple. Moving along to a very important man, Mr. Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's pretty smart.
We need Elon Musk. Elon Musk is just the right amount of crazy for humanity.
Yeah.
He is the guy who will bring us to the edge of nuclear holocaust, dangle that, complete end of humanity experience in front of us, and then pull it back just safe enough for all of us to have a good night of sleep.
Yeah.
You agree?
I think his cars will come to life as the robots are like attacking, and they're like the Autobots in reality. They'll save us.
He'll just have to whisper into a very small device, protocol 815, activate, and then we're saved.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
If you haven't been watching the new Stephen Colbert, Late Show with Stephen Colbert,
fellow CBS
member. And I'm not saying this because I work for CBS.
Yeah.
I happen to think the show is pretty good.
Yeah, it's been good.
I mean, we're only 3 episodes in, but it's exactly what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, which is like a little bit of a smarter late night show.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jimmy Fallon's entertaining, but no one's ever accused the guy of being cerebral. I happen to like Jimmy Kimmel too.
Yeah.
But that's its own flavor. That's its own taste. And I think what people loved about the Colbert Report, Mr. Colbert is a pretty big geek, as that's becoming very apparent in his CBS debut. I think this is exactly what we need in the night.
I think it's good.
Anyway, my shilling for my own company
I should mention, have you been, do you watch it on television?
Yeah, I've seen the first 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't watch late night TV anymore.
I am not glued to the TV. I am doing other things.
Sure.
But I'm digesting it, and it's on the level I need it to be.
Sure.
That said, on Wednesday night, he welcomed Elon Musk as a guest,
which is sort of that's a good indication as to who you can I think Joe Biden was also on it. He's definitely not just trotting. George Clooney was on his first episode, but he's definitely not just trotting out pretty celeb of the week. At least not for his first week. I think it'll be a nice mix at the very least.
Right on.
And yeah, he was on. Musk was on. Did you see the interview?
I did.
And so Musk, as you may know, has these dreams of populating Mars being the closest planet to us. And he seems to think that it's possible to do it with large, clear bubbles. You could just live on Mars, even though Mars is pretty inhospitable. But eventually, you would need to change the climate such, I guess, make it warmer. Because right now it's super cold.
It's very cold.
So he said he had a plan to do that, and Colbert asked him, "Do you have a fast plan or a slow plan?" He's like, "Well, my fast plan is to nuke the poles." That's amazing.
Nuke the poles.
And the fact that this guy exists
is so awesome.
Is kind of fantastic and also a little bit scary.
Well, because think about it. If we had to do that, just hypothetically,
sure,
we have to do this. Humanity, in order for humanity to live on,
there's a comet coming. Yeah, it's going to knock us into the sun.
Right, and Billy Bob Thornton says the only way for us to save humanity is to inexplicably nuke the North and South Martian poles.
Yes.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Who's the first guy you would look? I'd be like, shit, we'll get
Bring in Musk. He's already been thinking about it for 10 years.
He's probably got a plan. And guess what? He does.
Not only that, he's already have them planted in the poles. He's just waiting for someone to ask him. He's like, oh, okay, boop.
He takes out that same little device.
Execute.
Execute Martian explosion. And
yeah,
it's amazing.
He's a card. He's really interesting. When I was at E3, we interviewed the guys that are making, what's that space game where you visit all the planets?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. And apparently while they were there, they were invited personally by Elon Musk to visit his plant. And they like...
The Gigafactory?
I guess.
I think that's in Nevada.
No, wherever it was like near LA.
Okay.
And they met with him, and they just had like... They obviously all day long are looking at people that are like in awe of their game because it's a pretty crazy game. And we met with them like immediately after they had gotten back, and you could see it in their faces. They were like awestruck, like they just met Willy Wonka and visited the chocolate factory. It's pretty crazy.
I love him.
He is a fascinating dude.
He also said he should run for president.
He should?
Yeah.
I don't think he can.
He can't. Well, because he's a South African. But he did. So you have to be born in the U.S.?
You have to be American citizen. So I think if you're
he does have his American citizenship.
No, but you have. It's a little bit weird. I think, as I understand it, like if your parents are traveling, for example, and your parents are both American, and they have you in France or whatever, you can still be president.
Okay.
But you can't like turn 13 or turn 15 and then get your American citizenship and become president. You can't do it after the fact. It's essentially you're born into it or not.
Rules are made to be broken.
True. And if anyone's going to break those rules, it's crazy Elon Musk.
Man, he's a very interesting person. But yeah, he said, so the fast way would be to inhabit Mars, to make it suitable for human existence. Well, it would be to drop thermonuclear weapons over the poles.
Yes.
So the greatest part of that, and the article we're referencing makes note of that, he says that, and he doesn't even flinch.
No.
He says it so calmly and nonchalantly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could whip that up in 18 months if you need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the thing. How would there not be like a radiation fallout, though?
I mean, it would be located in the poles.
It would be centralized to the poles.
Theoretically. I mean, I guess it could move.
Right.
That'd be bad. But you're in bubbles, so it's fine. So if it doesn't work out, worst comes to worst, that's another problem for him to solve.
Someone needs to just sit him down for 5 hours and come up with every science fiction movie for the next 50 years, just from him babbling.
Yeah.
Like, get Elon Musk drunk. Like, that's what you got to do. Get him drunk and just have him, like, completely have diarrhea from the mouth. And just...
Science diarrhea.
And just give us, like, endless amounts of inspiration for sci-fi.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, he's terrifying.
But in a very
good way.
comforting way.
Yeah.
We need him.
But that seems like doom. It's always the case where it's like, hey, there's this guy that's like super smart and a little bit intimidating, and he leads you into the future and or leads you into 1984.
High risk, high reward.
That's true.
You don't get anything significant without actually putting it all on the line.
Yeah.
You got to let it ride.
Amen.
All right. Before we hit the break, let's talk about Pokemon. Pokemon.
Jeff, you're a little bit older than I am.
Dude,
By 9
year.
years older than me.
Stop it.
Yeah, so I'm 31. What are you, 33?
I'm 33.
33.
So you're 1984?
83.
Oh, so your birthday's in what?
October.
Right, so it's coming up.
Yeah.
So you're barely...
You're an old man. That's the upshot of this.
Under 2 years apart.
What I would say is when I was growing up, I was sort of in the heart of the sweet spot for Pokemon because the game came out. I was like probably 11, maybe around that age.
Okay.
On Game Boy, and it just like was like perfect for my age.
So you were into Pokemon
big time. Like I played all the games and I watched the show and all that stuff.
Such a dork.
I mean, yes, there's no question about that. And in recent years, I've sort of like moved away from it because like I'll play them, but like not with the level of passion and obsessiveness that I used to. But I still like love, the original 151 and all that stuff.
I don't know what that means.
In the original Pokemon game, there were 151 different Pokemon that you could catch.
I think my Pokemon, what sounds like hate, it's not hate.
Ignorance.
It's ignorance. Yeah. Because I'm upset I was left out of that.
Well, what was the equivalent for you?
I don't know.
Snap bracelets?
Well, dude, like I said, less than 2 years separated. So I'm sure people my age were into it.
What was the like zeitgeist thing. I guess people maybe, but they were more losers because they were even older.
No, I don't want to call anyone a loser, but like for me, when I think of my childhood, if you're talking like the NES like sort of thing, it was all Mario and it was all
sure. It wasn't like a Pokemon was a phenomenon though, in the way that like Angry Birds became a phenomenon. And
I'm thinking I was like Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
you were that too.
Yeah, that was me too.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, Nintendo, as you may or may not know, has begun making mobile games. They actually just released the Pokemon Match game on iPhone and various other platforms. They're making them with DNA. Who is a Japanese company that makes mobile games, etc. Their newest announcement is this game called Pokemon Go, which is coming to Android, your favorite, and iOS. And it's essentially an augmented reality game where you walk around the world and you hold your camera up and hey, there's Charizard hanging out on that couch and you could like catch him some way.
Sure.
But in watching this trailer, I got like really into it for some reason. It's like this
live action trailer.
It's a live action trailer where people are like running around like different cities, pointing their cameras and like, oh, there's Pikachu hanging out in the fountain. Probably not, he's electric, but hanging out in the electric factory.
Right.
And then there's this moment where everyone converges on like Times Square to fight Mewtwo, who's like the ultimate bad guy from the original
Is
Pokemon.
He a Pokemon?
He's a Pokemon.
So there's bad and good Pokemons.
Yeah, Mewtwo's the ultimate evil. He was genetically created by scientists.
Oh, all right.
There's also Mew. He was cloned from Mew.
So he's the sequel.
He's the sequel.
2.
He's the evil version.
Gotcha. Is it the number 2 or 2?
2 spelled out.
Gotcha.
So Mewtwo is very evil. Anyway, everyone comes and they're like pointing their phones up at Mewtwo and fighting him and throwing balls at him and all your Pokemon are going after him. And I just got like really pumped. It's like a really well done trailer. It's definitely worth watching. I don't think anyone that doesn't like Pokemon is going to be converted by watching this, but it really did tap into my love of Pokemon.
Well, and there's a million people like you. I'm sorry, there's 40 million people like you.
Yes.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a good indication that the game is going to have the best interests of your kind in mind.
Yeah, I just wonder what it's going to do for Nintendo's brand. Like, are you going to start seeing like kind of crummy mobile games by Nintendo, and what does that mean for them?
No, I don't think you will.
Yeah.
I think if Nintendo is backing this, do they own Pokemon?
It's complicated, but the Pokemon Company is like a separate company that handles the branding for it, but they have like a licensing agreement with Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't think Nintendo is interested in releasing crap anytime, and I don't think they, as we know,
not so much crap, but like just sort of like forgettable things.
It's possible, but I think their first significant foray into this world would not be a half-assed one.
Yeah,
that's just my take.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think it comes out next year. And not related to this, but I don't know if you're familiar with the diss track phenomenon that's going on in the UK.
No.
There's like this underground hip hop phenomenon, and people are producing these diss tracks, and apparently they're very well regarded in the hip hop community. And this guy named JME created a diss track that I don't know. Well, just play a few seconds of it.
What? Okay.
You have it? Yeah, here we go.
Trust.
What?
Shiny Charizard for life. Just know when you see me, you're looking at the very best. You could have 10 Master Balls, you still can't match. The very best. Don't care about legendary birds, you can't attack. The very best. Ash Ketchum catches them all, but I only catch.
It's a pretty good video.
That's these are like a hand drawing.
So is this So diss track is just like a song making like
it's about like how good you are essentially. It's just very earnest and like spot on for someone that clearly loves Pokemon. Like he's talking about link cables. Those were used in the original Game Boy to like transfer Pokemon. He knows this stuff.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
I respect passion.
Yeah.
Simply put. So
Dell the Funky Homo Sapien, also a big gamer.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
sang about Dreamcast. I feel like I'm talking gibberish to you, Jeff.
No, I get it. It's not. You're not talking gibberish.
You know, it's not all about Hoopastank.
I'm just not connected. I just can't relate.
You just don't have that
Pokemon.
Emotional connection. I understand.
It's you are kind of speaking a different language to me because I am only on a very surface level am I familiar. Like I know Pikachu.
Sure, there
and
he
I
is.
know Squirtle.
Yep.
And like that's it.
Yep.
Yesterday, Vinny was telling me about all this Pokemon. Like that 37-year-old dude is all about it. I'm just like, all right, I guess I just missed the boat on that.
You missed the boat.
I don't know. I won't lie. Like I definitely remember in my own mind making fun of those people.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, they're a bunch of losers.
Well, I made fun of the Magic card kids. So.
And what's the difference?
Nothing. It's
Magic,
outrageous that
in my opinion, could be more creative.
It's certainly more social because you have to play with other people.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to hear what people think. I was never into any of that stuff. Yeah. No Magic, no Pokemon, no card games, none of that. I was an NES kid, that's for sure, but that's about it. All right, we're going to take a break. Word from our sponsor. When we come back, big news in the world of entertainment, the world of European football. And potentially a quick and dirty Mission Impossible Rogue Nation review from our very own Russ Frushtick. More 404 right after this. Also, going to announce a very special guest coming on the show in a couple weeks.
Ooh.
Stay tuned. Hey, Russ.
What?
I noticed you don't have a website.
Nope, I don't.
What's up with that?
I'm terrible at the internet, Jeff. You know that.
You're terrible at a lot of things. I want to put internet in like the top 5.
Yeah.
This means you would probably do well visiting a website called Wix.com. That's Wix.com. If you're running your own business, you're not, but you're busy.
Pretty busy.
You're busy enough to have a website, to deserve a website.
Yeah, I can see myself having a website.
Well, great. That's where Wix.com comes in. This service makes it super easy for you to create a stunning website. Doesn't matter what you do for a living, doesn't matter what business you're in, Wix will have something for you. Because Wix is used by 60 million people throughout the world. Wix.com empowers business owners to create their own professional websites, and now you can do it even easier with a drag-and-drop builder, hundreds of designer-made customizable templates to choose from, and best of all, no coding needed whatsoever. It's easy, it's free, your grandma could do it. Go to Wix.com and sign up for an entirely free account today, no credit card required. Thanks to Wix.com for sponsoring our show today. Head on over, Wix.com. That's Wix.com. Hey, welcome back to the 404 show. Before the break, we talked about a very special guest who will be here the week of what? What's that, the 21st?
The week of the 21st, yep.
So that Friday's show, we will welcome Mr. Derek Waters, the creator and star of the Comedy Central show Drunk History.
I love that show.
You do?
I'm a huge fan.
It is a very good show.
It's tremendous. It's brilliant and such a good idea, and it's so well produced and hilarious.
So there's a lot of things I want to ask him, and if you want to ask him something, by all means, participate in the subreddit. I will make a thread today for that. But I guess I want to know, like, apparently the idea came from like a YouTube video he did.
Okay, I haven't seen the YouTube video.
I don't know if it's him or
I have
a friend
seen
of his.
YouTube videos, yeah, where people got really blitzed and like
explain some
stuff.
And then you heard about the Drunk History wedding video that came out this week.
See that.
This couple it's produced. But it's supposed to be this like wedding video about how the couple met. And they did like Drunk History of how they met.
That's great.
Yeah. So it's absolutely a phenomenon. Does very well on Comedy Central. We're very excited to welcome him to the show for the first time. So yeah, we'll have some fun with Derek Waters. And unfortunately, Russ won't be there.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it. I didn't want to. I'm sorry.
I'm bummed. I'm going to be in San Francisco that week. It sucks, but you guys will hold it down.
Oh, are you crying?
I'm crying. I'll be drinking Jaeger to celebrate.
And explaining something else. Okay, let's talk. I saw this freaking headline yesterday, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Why are these things a big deal? Maybe it's my fault. Maybe, Jeff, you shouldn't be reading about the trending topics on Facebook. Maybe they are only going to do Nothing but disappoint you.
Okay.
Why do I do it? I don't know. But I saw this headline and I'm like, what? Who cares? Why is this a thing? Headline said, hey, Zack Snyder confirms there's going to be more Batman than Superman in the new Batman vs. Superman movie coming out in March. Okay.
Did he give a ratio?
Right? Did he give a ratio?
63% Batman?
My first thing, and I'm gonna breathe easy and calm myself and collect it. Why does anybody need to know that right now?
Sure.
Why? Why do you need to ruin everything before this movie comes out?
This is what I'm going to say. I think there's a lot of people that hated the last Superman movie, myself included. I hated it. I thought it was garbage.
Which one is that? Man of Steel?
Man of Steel.
Okay.
Thought it was garbage.
Zack Snyder do that?
Zack Snyder directed it.
Oh, let's give him the keys to the castle again.
So I don't think he's directing this one, or he's not. He might be directing this one, but he's not writing it. There's some element of that. Anyway, I think that some of this might be getting ahead of things, where people are like, there's like a lot of hate around it, and people are like, we don't like Superman. He sucks. He's not an interesting character. So this is like them getting ahead of it and saying like, no, it's more of a Batman movie, really.
So you think this is a play?
I think it's a play.
The first line to this freaking article made me want to throw my computer out the window also. While promoting the Doritos Crash the Super Bowl ad contest, director and DC Extended Universe Godfather Zack Snyder. Oh, who gives a shit?
Godfather. He's made one movie. Oh, I guess he's working on like Suicide Squad and all that stuff.
And
but I
doesn't
wouldn't call him
Godfather
yet.
denote like some sense of authority?
Yeah.
And
I mean, he is at the head of this thing, but there's only one movie that's been released, and it was poopy. So
it was poopy rubbish.
Yeah, it was poopy rubbish.
All right. Regardless of how we personally feel about Zack Snyder and his inability to make me care about any movie he makes, I don't understand why we need to find out everything. Yes, you say it's a play by Warner Brothers to get out ahead of the fact that
why is someone writing about it?
Because Superman inherently sucks. No one wants to see a movie where he's weighted more than Batman. I get that. Fine. My whole thing is like, why do we care? Why do you, the average viewer, want to do this to yourself? Don't you want anything left for surprise? Do you want to know? Why don't you just find out what happens? Why don't we just show you the last 20 minutes of the movie?
I completely agree.
That's what's going to happen.
I completely agree.
That's what we're getting towards.
But people look at me like I'm a crazy person when I sit in movie theaters and a trailer comes on for a movie that I want to see, and I look down and shut my ears. Like, is that crazy?
You're not crazy. I do that with TV shows. Next time on Sons of Anarchy, I hit stop.
Right.
I happen to like the art of the trailer. I like the...
Sure.
So here's the thing with trailers for me. And you can't compare a trailer to Next Time On. Those are not the same thing. No, trailers are highly produced.
But these days, trailers are revealing more and more. Like, you're seeing
I don't disagree.
Sure. Okay.
I don't disagree. Maybe there will be a movie that comes out soon where I care enough to not see the trailer. But
Star Wars. I don't want to watch any more Star Wars trailers.
Yeah, I guess I'm with you on that, even though I don't care about Star Wars as much as you apparently do. Star Wars, as I call it now. Yeah, so I just there's something about the composition of the trailer and like how much work goes into a trailer where like I'm not sure the same kind of blood, sweat, and tears goes into Next Time On.
I'm sure not.
Plus like the proportion of like the ratio of like a movie time to a trailer.
Yeah.
So there you have it. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, but you understand that there's a large chunk of people that just want to know everything and they don't care.
Like, and that's my thing. Like, I want to get inside the mind of that guy, the guy who's like, oh yeah, give me more, leak the whole thing out. Like, I just want to go for the credits, essentially, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're setting yourself up for.
Yeah.
And not only that, the more you see of a movie, the more, and this is my opinion, you can do whatever the hell you want, but the more you let yourself understand what's gonna happen, the more you form opinions, and the more that compromises the experience. Piece.
I would much rather go in raw for every movie possible.
Yeah.
Totally. It all impacts it. I have no interest in really seeing this movie. If it comes out and the Rotten Tomatoes score is like 98, sure, I'll see it.
So even 88, you wouldn't see it.
I don't know that I'd see it in the theaters if it was 88. Because I think even the Man of Steel was pretty high, and people were just dead. Like, it was garbage.
Right. There's times where you need to see a trailer, though. Like, I need to see the new Ghostbusters trailer.
Sure. So I watch trailers when I'm not sure about the movie and I don't know if I want to see it. And then the second I see a trailer and I'm like, oh, this is a movie I definitely want to see. For example, last night I saw the trailer for the Johnny Depp movie where he plays Whitey Bulger, Black Mass. Woo. And I was like, whoa, I am in. Yeah. Like, I'm watching this movie. So now, whenever I see a commercial or whenever I see another trailer, I'm going to turn away.
Right.
Because I know I'm going to see it.
Right.
It looks fantastic.
Yes.
So there's definitely a value in trailers. I get it 100%. It's this minute to minute crap that I'm really hoping for, like, again, Star Wars. I'm excited about Star Wars. And I think J.J. Abrams is pretty good about keeping things under wraps.
And or at least releasing stuff in a manner that is not offensively spoilery.
What I will say, though, is that J.J. Abrams also put out a trailer for that second Star Trek movie, and in the trailer is the scene with the Enterprise like falling to Earth.
Yeah, I don't want to know that happens. Like, that's
it's in the trailer.
That's a big reveal.
I know, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, it sucks.
This movie came out a couple years ago, so I don't.
It's not a spoiler.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying is, like, don't put that in there because my crazy brain will be like, wait, we haven't seen the Enterprise fall out of the sky.
Like, seeing a trailer creates this checklist in your head.
Exactly, 100%.
And every now and then, you sure things like are in the trailer and not in the final film, but then you're struggling with that in your mind the whole time you're watching it for the first time. All right, let's go. I want to talk about Mission Impossible. You saw that last night, so you saw the trailer for Black Mass. What are the trailers you see?
Nothing super memorable.
Clearly,
Yeah, the Black Mass one stood out. I was like, oh, I'm definitely seeing this movie. Oh, I saw the Zoolander trailer.
Is it a trailer or a teaser?
It's the teaser with the fake voice robot. What's his name? Stephen Hawking. And I don't remember.
The fake voice robot. All right, don't worry about that. Mission Impossible 5. Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation.
4.
5.
What was
the Brad Bird one? That was Ghost Protocol.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, so you haven't seen that one?
So I've seen 1, 2, 3. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the 5th one.
You like Ghost Protocol?
I liked it. Actually, today on Twitter, I gave my order, which is 3, 1.
3's your favorite?
3 is my favorite. I love
the Philip Seymour Hoffman one.
Yes, I think 3 is excellent.
3's fun. That's with like the windmills.
Oh yeah, the like scene with the helicopter with the wind generating things. Yeah.
Okay.
So 3, 1, 4, 5,
1 is
2.
Good.
1 is really good.
1 is great.
1 and 3 are probably tied for me.
I mean, Jean Reno.
What's his name? John Voight.
John Voight. There's
Emilio Estevez. He gets stabbed by an elevator in the first 3 seconds.
Man, that movie is so damn good.
It's great.
And it's like the perfect moment. That movie hit at the perfect time where it was just where like stuff was like almost believable.
Yeah. But still outrageous.
Yeah.
Actually, as I was walking over here, I was listening to that soundtrack on Spotify.
Were you like sneaking through
and
the
you
streets?
can't, like, I'm walking on the street and you can't help but feel like you're on a mission of some sort. It's fantastic.
It's a great
Danny
track.
Elfman did that soundtrack, by the way. I didn't know that.
He composed
the score.
Not originally. There was
not the original theme song, but the whole score of the movie.
So good.
So this new movie, and we're not going to go into spoilers because I know I don't want to ruin it for you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
First of all, I would say it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't know that they were really working on it until the first like marketing materials sort of came out. I don't know if you saw this. There's like a stunt that Tom Cruise does. That was like a big part of the marketing materials.
And apparently it was inspired by a video game.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Maybe.
I think a video game inspired that stunt.
Okay. Well, what I will say was nice about that marketing material is like that stunt happens in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Smart.
So I was no longer like waiting.
Because they knew.
Because they knew. I was going to be watching
Russ,
it.
We're going to check that box.
So overall, I thought it was a good movie. Pacing felt a little weird, a little slow at times. And it kind of was a little more serious. I feel like Mission Impossible, the good ones do a nice bounce between like goofy and serious. Like there's a lot of comedic moments, especially in the later ones.
Okay.
And this felt a little serious. But the biggest sticking point for me, and I think you can judge a Mission Impossible movie based on its big heist scene, because they all have like one crazy heist in them.
They do. It's always something crazy.
And this heist scene was like very CG laden and kind of lame, in my opinion.
Oh, no.
It just didn't really do it for me. It was okay, but it just was like, it felt very fake. Whereas like you think of the best heists with, breaking into the CIA,
yes,
which they actually make reference to in this movie, is like an amazing scene. And there's no CG. It's like crazy wire work and like the guy getting diarrhea while he's having lunch. You remember the guy that works in the CIA?
Yeah.
And they put the poison in his drink.
The knock list. They got to get the knock list.
It's amazing. And the third one has a really good, the heist in the third one, in my opinion, is the when they're stealing Philip Seymour Hoffman from the Vatican City. Yeah, is like an amazing heist scene.
Gotta see that one again.
Oh, I just rewatched it a couple weeks ago.
It's tremendous,
really great. The fourth one has the great scene in the Burj Dubai.
See, I gotta watch that.
And
Ghost Protocol.
And this one, we're not even going to talk about the second one because the second one is dog duty. It's like terrible.
Which one is
that's the John Woo directed one? It starts with him free climbing up the rock.
Oh, right.
It's really
Give
awful.
Tom Cruise credit.
I mean, he's in shape.
He's doing it, and he's doing it. He's like, he doesn't do majority of the stunts.
He does do a lot of the stunts. What I've heard among Hollywood is that certain...
You travel in those circles?
I've read interviews with people, and certain actors that are like action stars kind of feel it's obnoxious that he does his own stunts, because you're essentially taking the job away from someone that would be doing those stunts. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, that's such a good point. All people only get commended for that.
Right.
They're never like, oh yeah, you're actually removing 15 dudes' jobs.
Right. And not only that, if something goes wrong during the stunt,
oh yeah,
forget about, like, the movie's done. Like, you're done.
Like, yeah. Johnny Stunt Double's not gonna take your place in the dramatic versions of the movie.
So it is. I don't know. I mean, it's impressive that he does it, and the stunts in this movie are crazy. And
Think about what that insurance policy must be like.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
but and he's in very good shape. Good for him.
Yeah,
it was good. I wasn't disappointed that I saw it. I felt like I probably could have been okay not seeing it in the theater. I was like kind of that vibe. It was fine though. I don't know. 1 and 3 are just so spectacular.
Yeah, 1, and the best thing about 1 is it's always on. I know that sounds
and
like
I can always watch it.
Yeah, and it's antiquated to say like it was on TV with this on-demand world, but it's tough to look away from that one.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. Kind of an endorsement. You're telling me I should see it, right?
But I would say I wouldn't
wait.
I would say wait.
Okay.
I think it's worth seeing, but I would see 4. I liked 4, but I wasn't over the moon about it. People love 4.
Okay.
And that was directed by Brad Bird, who did The Incredibles and Tomorrowland. But he did Incredibles, and people like that. So and that has a lot of comedic stuff in it, which I liked. This had a lot of Simon Pegg in it, for what it's worth.
Okay. I enjoy him a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to bring up real quick? I've totally forgot.
Soccer?
Yeah, we were going to get into the soccer thing, and then I was thinking about more Mission Impossible things. Oh, the director of Rogue Nation,
Chris McQuarrie, I believe his name
wrote The Usual Suspects.
Really?
Really.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
He's also directed a fair amount of good stuff, too, I believe. If I accurately recall my Wikipedia IMDb deep dive I did on that dude.
Yeah, he's let's see, I've got him up here.
I love that. I love making those connections and you realize stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's why Simon Pegg was this guy there.
Well, there's a lot. I mean, and you look at Mission Impossible 3, there's like a ton of J.J. Abrams normal, like Felicity, what's her name? That played Felicity on that WB show. You know, that
which one
chick. She was Felicity.
Is that Love Hewitt or is that Sarah Michelle Gellar?
No, you're way off.
I confuse all those 90s women.
Anyway, he had a lot of familiar actors. Chris McQuarrie, for what it's worth, so he wrote Edge of Tomorrow, which I really like.
Yes, we love that film.
Another really good.
Nobody saw it.
It's funny because he hasn't really directed huge movies.
But he's written a lot of good stuff.
So this is the third movie he's directed. He directed Way of the Gun, which I didn't see.
Yeah.
Jack Reacher, which was the other Tom Cruise joint.
So he's got a pre-existing relationship
in this movie.
there.
But in terms of the movies he's written, Valkyrie, which was like real, I didn't see it, but
people love
really
that.
well received. Quite a lot of Tom Cruise stuff in here. Jack the Giant Slayer, which I think people hated.
Yeah, that was that
Edge of
Bryan
Tomorrow
Singer.
was the
but
other
that's
big
the
one.
Bryan Singer connection.
Yeah, Bryan Singer connection.
So it's funny, like,
and Usual Suspects, as you said.
right? It's so funny. I wonder what those social like dinners go like. Like, oh, Tom, love working with you, Tom. No, I don't want to read that. No, Tom, let's just have dinner. We're here to talk about the movie. I love you.
He seems like he'd be such an intense dude.
Tom Cruise. Oh my God, of course.
But everything I've heard about, ignoring the like crazy Scientology stuff, people have said any time that they've like interacted with him on set or whatever,
he's great.
He's like the nicest guy, like super well.
And you want to believe that. I want to believe that.
Here's what I will say. Stories about people tend to get out.
Right.
So like there's a kind of this thing about like Chris Pine, for example, who's Captain Kirk on the new Star Trek, and he has a bit of a rep for being not super easy to work with.
Even though he was in Wet Hot?
He was in Wet Hot, that's true. But he has a bit of a rep. And this stuff tends to get out because Hollywood has so many people that work on movies, and like you say the wrong thing to the wrong gaffer, and it's tweeted and it's going to be out there. Yeah. So it's kind of nice to hear that Tom Cruise is not super crazy. Maybe he'll lose the Scientology thing.
You know what? Whatever. But let's put that aside. As much as that, irks people.
Sure.
I love him. I love the actor.
He is a great actor.
The actor Tom Cruise
and very charismatic.
Yeah. I mean, Minority Report. I love the sci-fi he does.
He can do comedy. He can do action.
He's funny.
I'd let him lead me to Xenu anytime.
Any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sundays, the football season has begun, but we're not talking about American football. We're talking about the first football.
Does that happen on Saturdays though?
What?
Soccer?
Maybe.
I think it might.
I feel like the reason we call soccer,
I know the reason actually.
Soccer.
Yeah.
Is why the rest of the world hates us.
Do you know why? This is actually an impromptu explain me like I'm 5.
Yeah, why?
So in England,
now you must do a British accent.
In merry old England, eh?
Wait a second.
We joined. What?
You physically cannot do it.
What?
You cannot do that accent. And I know there's like a long joke about you and the whole Michael Caine thing, but you can't even try and do it.
Do you want like a real one?
I want you to try and do a British accent.
Sure. Okay.
Like a genuine
serious. Like a normal walking down the street British person.
All right.
Oi, what? Merry old England, eh?
You can't do it? Are you joking?
Not capable of doing it. I can't do a serious one. I don't know.
You can't be like, oh, hello, love. What's up?
The problem is I frequently dive into Australian accents because I just conflate the two.
All right.
What do you want from me?
I want you to be able to do it because most people, I feel like they can at least give it a college try. I'm sorry, university try.
Give me a sentence and I'll do it in a British accent.
So I'll say something like that's stereotypical British.
But say it normally. Don't say it like, British.
Hello, love.
Okay.
You're looking smashing today.
Okay. Hello, love. You're looking smashing today.
That's not the worst attempt. That's not bad.
I'm in the Beatles.
I don't think any of the Beatles ever said, I'm in the Beatles.
So, long story short, as I understand it, and this might be corrected on the internet, but as I understand it, there was a thing called association football. And that association football, it was like the organization that had a lot of football games.
Okay.
Football being soccer. And association was shortened to soccer. That's where the sock comes from, association. So, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Association was shortened to soccer. And
but where's the A?
Yeah, whatever. Abbreviations do not need to use every letter.
All right.
They called it soccer. What do you want from me?
Got it.
It was an upper class thing. It was like a rich people thing. They called it to call it association football, or soccer was like an upper class thing. So as a push against the upper class, people started calling it just football. It was like a classist thing.
Yeah.
But by then it had already come over from England to the US and it's stuck here as soccer.
That is such a better explanation.
What did you have?
I don't have one. I just have like a stupid American explanation where it's like, oh, we're going to call it soccer because we already have a football.
It is funny because they obviously make fun of us all the time for calling it soccer, but it did originate in England. So.
Yeah, so it came from a good place.
So F you.
It comes from a good place. Nevertheless, the reason we're talking about soccer, which is a fantastic sport.
It is a lovely sport.
It is
it's like big hockey.
It's big hockey. It is. And the reasons I love soccer are mostly in line with the reasons why I love hockey.
It's a very similar, I mean, almost identical, I would say.
There's a frenetic, chaotic sort of
Sure.
play style, deflections, close calls, goals are important.
Lots of athleticism required.
Lots of athleticism and good-looking people.
And yes, handsome people.
So what's happening with soccer?
So I feel like everyone has had this same complaint about soccer forever. Generally, it happens during the World Cup because it's the only time when the U.S. cares about soccer. But we say, hey, it's crap that so much of soccer is focused on yellow cards and red cards and people essentially flopping.
There's a lot of diving in
There's
soccer.
like, oh, I touched you like with a feather and you flew across the field.
A lot of diving.
And they're finally seemingly going against it and ruling against diving. So the way the ruling works is if someone has a red card pulled against them for committing a foul, and then it's reviewed and it's realized that the person that fell was faking it.
How can you review that?
There's video.
But I understand, but like...
It's easy. Have you ever watched these videos of people...
I guess.
That was the hard part, was that they had to make these calls on the spot.
Right.
But...
in a video, you can see the cognitive process where it's like, oh,
right.
that hurt, now I should fall.
And it's like those terrible like stage combat things where they're missing by like a mile, but people are like complaining about it.
So retroactive fines.
It's retroactive, and it's not fines specific. It might be fines, but the big one is that it's a 3-game suspension.
Ooh, just for any kind of incident.
So they have this scenario here. Player A is sent off for violent conduct. Dismissal overturned after the referee reviews the incident and sees that player B has feigned an injury. Player B is open to a charge and could face a 3-match ban. I think that's fantastic.
It's smart that this hasn't been a thing. So like,
it's crazy that it hasn't been a thing yet.
But now think about it. Like all the diving is going to happen the last 5 minutes of a game because there's no time to review. Like, what is this review going to happen?
I don't know the details of that specifically.
Yeah.
But I could see if they can't do reviews then, maybe it's like they certainly could review it afterwards and say, oh, you're suspended for the next 3 games.
Right.
Because
That's interesting, man.
I feel like anytime that anyone gets a red card and gets thrown out for something like that, it should just be reviewed. Like have someone in the box just look at it for 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
I understand the value of like keeping the game moving and stuff like that, and I don't want to slow it down, but this sucks. Like watching people fall, it sucks, and it slows the sport down.
It's silly.
So if you really discourage it a lot by doing this sort of thing, like that's fantastic. You keep things moving, people stop doing it, and it's like the true form of the game, which is, as you said, a really good game.
And I wonder if like injury time changes.
Yeah, well, right. Stoppage time is very crazy to me.
Stoppage time is...
I get the reason for it, but it's just very confusing and arbitrary.
There just can't be a definitive 0.
Yeah.
Like there just has to be a time where you can call the game off where the ball is not in jeopardy of being scored.
Well, I do like that idea that you can't just end it. Like if someone's driving,
right, you
can't just end it.
I would love for that to be in hockey.
Yeah, it should be in hockey.
Cool. Like if you're on a breakaway with 10 seconds left.
Yeah. But hockey, I think, by the nature of like how much,
it's
smaller
sport.
and faster.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Finally, Product Hunt.
Yep.
Game of the week.
Product Hunt.
Game of the week.
Yeah,
Party
so
time. Excellent.
You can go to producthunt.com/gaming. Check out all the games we got up there. Today.
It's good, man.
Thank you.
I tell you do a really good job there.
Thank you. I try.
I love it.
Today we have a game called Cursor Tag. Actually a pretty neat idea. So you go on this webpage and all you see is like 6 or 7 mouse cursors. So the arrows on the screen. It's just a blank screen.
Okay.
And your objective is to click on one of the mouse cursors. What you don't know is that those mouse cursors are controlled by other people, and when you click on them, it takes a photo of them with their camera. It's like Snapchat.
So how does that work?
What do you mean?
Like you have to have the camera to play?
Yes, it requires a camera.
Gotcha.
And you have to grant access to use your camera when you're playing the game. And it's pretty awesome because you're clicking on someone and then you see their face reacting to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like
and they're like, oh, you see a bunch of like derp faces.
Yeah. And then a dick for no reason.
It's chat roulette. That's going to happen. Producthunt.com/games. Check it out over the weekend. That's going to do it for us, Mr. Russ Frushtick. You have anything to say to the fine people?
No. Be good to one another.
Be excellent to one another. Follow Russ on Twitter. We don't pimp that out enough.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
Russ is
How many followers are you up to, Jeff?
I don't know, man.
You don't check it every day?
I'm on it every day.
Yeah.
I think I've got a little over 12 and a half.
Yeah. I feel like the Beastcast has been very good for you and followers.
I'm going to say yes, it has been. It is not me. It is them.
Yeah. You're sort of riding those coattails.
Yeah, I'm at 12.6 now.
12.6, pretty good.
It's okay. I want to get to 50.
And where can people follow you?
50,000.
50,000 followers, really?
I want that.
Wow.
I want 100.
Okay. Well, you just trumped yourself by 100%. Any other
I'm
increases?
at Jeff Bakalar.
He's at Jeff Bakalar. I'm at Russ Frushtick. You should follow us. Not only that, you should, if you haven't, given us a review on iTunes. You should do that. That's pretty cool.
What are you waiting for?
It helps us. It helps our ranking. It helps other people find the show. And, it makes our dreams come true.
And please be nice to the sponsors. Participate in that. Do
that as well. And participate in the Reddit subreddit.
Of course, reddit.com/r/the404. We will be back in 1 week. Have a fantastic week. Lots of games coming out.
What?
Start emptying your bank accounts and giving it over to wherever you buy games.
Flappy Bird.
Crossy Roads 2 is coming out. Apple TV. What? We'll see you guys next time. I'm Jeff Bakalar.
I'm Russ Frushtick.
This has been the 404 Show, high tech, lowbrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Today's episode was brought to you by Wix.com. Wix is used by 60 million people throughout the world, empowering business owners to create their own professional websites. With the drag and drop builder and hundreds of designer-made templates to choose from, you can get your amazing website live today. It's easy and free. Head over to Wix.com. Create your stunning website today. That's Wix, Wix.com.